It's 10 p.m. You've had a long day of meetings, emails, and deadlines. Now you face the most challenging question of the day. What should I watch on Netflix? You scroll endlessly, feeling a strange mix of boredom and anxiety. The more you look, the less you want to choose, until you finally just rewatch a show you've seen a dozen times. This feeling isn't about laziness or a lack of options. It's a genuine form of mental exhaustion. It's a phenomenon that affects the quality of your decisions throughout the day. This is decision fatigue. It's the quiet reason why we make irrational trade-offs and why our willpower seems to vanish as the day goes on. The more choices you make, from what to wear to how to answer an email, the more your brain's capacity for thoughtful decision-making gets depleted. It's a cognitive resource drain that happens to everyone. Even the most powerful people on Earth actively fight against it. Former President Obama and Mark Zuckerberg famously reduced their daily clothing choices to limit the number of decisions they make. So, if it affects presidents and CEOs, it's definitely affecting you. But how does it work? And why does it feel like our brains are running out of fuel? This isn't just a feeling. It's a real psychological process with deep roots in our biology and the structure of modern life. Let's break down why this happens. The core of the issue lies in a concept called ego depletion, a theory developed by psychologist Roy Baumeister. It suggests that our self-control and willpower are finite resources. Think of your willpower like a muscle. Every time you force yourself to focus, resist temptation, or make a trade-off, you're flexing that muscle and it gets tired. In one famous study, participants who resisted freshly baked cookies gave up on a difficult puzzle much faster than those who were allowed to eat them. Their act of resistance depleted their mental energy. This muscle is fueled by glucose. Our brain's prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for executive functions and decision-making, consumes a lot of energy. When glucose levels are low, self-control falters. This explains why you're more likely to grab a sugary snack or make an impulse purchase late in the afternoon. Your brain is seeking a quick energy source to compensate for the depletion. Modern life puts this system into overdrive. We are confronted with what psychologist Barry Schwartz calls the paradox of choice. More options, we believe, mean more freedom. However, research shows the opposite. An overwhelming number of choices leads to paralysis and dissatisfaction. Choosing from 24 types of jam is less satisfying than choosing from just 6. Every notification, every email, every what-if scenario is a micro-decision. Our digital lives have turned the slow drip of daily choices into a fire hose, constantly draining our mental reserves. The consequences are clear: procrastination, poor judgment, and a tendency to choose the easiest, safest, or most impulsive option, not the best one. Now that we understand the why, we can build a system to fight back. The solution isn't about having more willpower, it's about managing our decisions more intelligently. The first strategy is to design your environment. The goal is to eliminate meaningless decisions to save energy for the important ones. Start by building routines. Plan your meals for the week. Lay out your clothes the night before, or create a consistent morning routine. This automates decisions. Simplify your choices where possible. You don't need 10 different types of coffee. Find one you like and stick with it. Limit the options you have to consider. The second strategy is energy management. Make your most important decisions when your mental energy is at its peak, usually in the morning. Don't schedule a critical strategy meeting for 4 p.m. Tackle your most demanding cognitive tasks first and leave simpler, more routine tasks for later in the day. Remember the glucose connection. A healthy snack can temporarily restore some self-control. This isn't an excuse for sugar, but a reminder that a well-nourished brain functions better. Taking short breaks can also be restorative. A few minutes of deep breathing or a quick walk can help reset your mind and ease the cognitive strain of constant decision-making. The third strategy involves adopting new decision-making frameworks. First, embrace the good enough principle. Don't search for the perfect option, find one that meets your criteria and move on. This fights perfectionism, which is a major source of decision fatigue. Chasing the absolute best choice is an exhausting and often fruitless endeavor. Set deadlines for your decisions, especially the big ones. This prevents you from endlessly weighing pros and cons, which is a classic symptom of decision fatigue. Finally, learn to delegate and consult. You don't have to make every decision alone. Trust your team, your partner, or your friends to make choices. Asking for advice isn't a sign of weakness. It's a smart way to distribute the cognitive load and gain new perspectives. These strategies work together to build a system that protects your most valuable asset, your ability to think clearly and make sound judgments. Let's recap. Decision fatigue is real, and it's the result of your brain's finite energy for self-control and choice. The modern world, with its endless options, is a primary cause. We combat it not by trying harder, but by being smarter. We design our environment, manage our energy, and adopt intelligent decision-making strategies. But there's a final, crucial element: self-compassion. You will have days when your mental battery is empty. You will make impulsive choices. That is part of being human. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness. Recognize when you're feeling depleted and be kind to yourself in those moments. Some research even suggests that your belief about willpower matters. Those who believe willpower is a limited resource are more affected by decision fatigue than those who don't. This doesn't mean you can will away fatigue. It means that a rigid, self-critical mindset can make the problem worse. A flexible, self-aware mindset can be a powerful tool for resilience. Don't beat yourself up for choosing takeout after a draining day. Instead, acknowledge the fatigue and think about which small strategy you can try tomorrow. True productivity isn't about doing more. It's about protecting your energy to do what matters well. Your decision-making ability is a precious resource. Treat it that way. What's one small decision you can eliminate this week? Share your ideas in the comments below, and let's help each other reclaim our mental energy.